Welcome back. You're watching Storyboard. In this episode, we are bringing to you some of our best conversations from the year gone by. Before slipping into the break, we had a few excerpts from our conversations with Maurice Levy and Arthur Sardon. And now it is time for one of my favorites. At Cannes Lions, Sir Martin Sorrell did express his shock about Publicis Worldwide staying away from the award show next year, but he agreed to the fact that the expense of participating in Cannes Lions is indeed a lot. In fact, he suggested that agencies need to work together with the festival to find out a solution rather than choosing a complete boycott. Let's take a look at this conversation to find out more about what the most plausible solutions would be. Welcome to the show.
Good to be here again.
I would begin the interview speaking about Arthur Sardon's announcement on Publicis staying out of 2018 Cannes Lions.
Yeah.
What is your take on that?
Well, I'm not quite sure why they announced it. There's a suggestion there was a leak from inside their own agencies, and they didn't want to do it at this time. But if you recall, last year we talked about Cannes in a way in the same way. We said a year ago that what Cannes had to do was sort of get its act together a bit. That it was too big and too diverse and probably too expensive. A year on, that is even more the case. A lot of our clients are fond now of a technique known as ZBB, or zero-based budgeting, and I think we should apply the same approach to Cannes. In other words, I don't think boycotts work or are particularly productive. We didn't see that boycotts worked very well in the UK in this issue around consumer brand safety, which Google and Facebook were facing. What really worked was working with Google and Facebook to improve the standards and make sure that that content didn't end up on inappropriate sites or uncurated sites. Same thing applies to Cannes. It started 60 or 70 years ago. I think it started in Venice, actually, then came to Cannes. It was started by a guy called Roger Hatchell, a French guy, had a vision for a creative festival. Started with the French agencies, mushroomed to Europe, then the Anglo-Saxons and the Americans got involved, and then the rest of the world, Asia, Latin America, Africa, Middle East, Central Eastern Europe got involved. It's a global festival. The question I would ask is not, what can we do incrementally? It's what fundamentally, if we were going to start Cannes today, which is what ZBB is about, would we have it in Cannes? Would it be like it is, as diverse as it is and as broad as it is, which why I welcome, by the way, the definition of creativity being broader. And last but not least, would it cost what it costs? And we spend a fortune. Our other direct competitors like Omnicom, like Publicis, like IPG, like Dentsu, like Havas, spend a fortune on it. You can see the investment that is made. With the clients, in this particular case, the people who spend the money are the agency groups, and I would just question whether we should overhaul the whole thing. My own view, for what it's worth, is it probably should not be here. That doesn't mean it's a French thing. It could be in Paris, could be in London, could be in New York, could be
India?
Could be in Delhi or Mumbai. I mean, one of the things that we were talking about this morning with one of our biggest clients was rotation.
On rotation basis in different cities?
Yeah, I mean, we live in a so-called global world. This is about as fixed as it can get.
Yeah.
Being here. I mean, I don't think...
And Asia happens like that on a rotation basis?
Yes, and I think that makes a lot of sense. But I think it's about time we had Ron Howard and Bob Kraft on stage yesterday, and Ron Howard's favourite film that he made was Apollo 13, and to use that vernacular, Houston, we have a problem. And I think the organisers have a big problem here.
Yep.
People are unhappy, agencies are unhappy, clients are unhappy. Media owners actually probably are the least disruptive group.
Do you suspect a domino effect, other network agencies or other networks or independent agencies pulling out of a festival like Cannes?
Well, I think we've reduced our presence here. I mean, this is not a new phenomenon. We reduced our presence here. Last year we were 1,000 people. This year we're about 500. But it costs a lot of money to send people here. And that's why I think actually a city location would be better. It'd be more democratic. In a world where Cannes, to my mind, doesn't exactly symbolize equality. So I think we could do it a little bit differently.
And now the final conversation is with Carter Murray, Global CEO FCB, where we spoke to him about FCB's plans for India.
Last time we met, you had a new CEO. Now you have a new office, you have new clients. So let's go one by one. Your new CEO, and tell me, no longer new, but tell me how he's settling in.
Well, I think you know more than me in terms of the Indian market, but I'm very excited by what he's done. Yeah. No, but Rohit's really done a great job, I think, focusing on all the things we talked about last time, which is, creativity and the importance of creativity. We've invested in the new offices. He's got some new business momentum going. So, we had the scale as one of the larger agencies in the market, but I think he's added this impetus and drive and confidence and passion, which has created some exciting momentum for us in the market, which is great. And hats off to him and to Swati, who we brought on board as a creative partner.
Yeah, sure. Now, the big talking point between your last trip and this one is GSK. It doesn't happen easily. A brand working with one agency for 80 years and then switches. So tell me that story.
Well, GSK is one of the top multinationals in the world, and Horlicks in India, as we all know, is an iconic brand. So I would say that win for us was pretty incredible in terms of momentum building. But I think it was building off the back of a lot of the good things that were happening at the agency. For me as a global CEO, I get nervous about it because it's a responsibility. Right. It's great to have the news of the win. But, Horlicks is a loved brand in this country, and it's one of GSK's premier brands, and it's a massive responsibility. But the team are grabbing it with both hands. They're incredibly excited, and I think we're seeing some early progress, which is great.
And now, this trip to India, you've spent a few days in Delhi, and then you're in Bombay. So what have been your focus areas for this trip?
My focus here has been 3 or 4 things. I'm here for the business planning for 2018, so I've currently gone...
Can you plan for 2018? Can anybody do that anymore?
I think we can plan for 2018. I've gone about 1.5 times around the world in 3 weeks, so my brain may be a little bit full from all the business planning.
Right.
But no, this is the time of year when I go and see the leadership teams and they talk to us about what's happening next year. So I'm here for that. I'm also spending time with clients. We have some very important clients here, both for the network and for India, and it's important to go see them. I'm really proud of the fact that I've come to India, I think 7 or 8 times in the last 3 or 4 years, more than most global CEOs, because this market's so important. So it's seeing the clients, doing the business planning, doing some interviews to talk about the momentum in the agency, and spending time with the people here. I mean, it really starts and finishes with the talent in the agency.
You've met all your clients. What is the common thread of conversations you're having with them?
I think India is neck and neck, shoulder to shoulder with many countries in the world in industry, in art, in culture, in many different areas. In the marketing world, I think India is a little bit behind in digital,
right.
Which is surprising. And I think a lot of clients now are starting to really want to make more advances in digital. So that's definitely a theme of discussion. I think integration in terms of getting, which is part of the digital discussion. They want to know how they can really do more integrated campaigns to drive their sales. There's obviously discussion about the economy. It's interesting coming here because the GDP is actually still pretty robust here compared to other countries in the world. I was just in Brazil where GDP is at 1%, below 1%. Next year it's projected at 1%.
Right.
India is still... on the global map, one of the exciting places for multinationals to invest and to believe in the future in.
Next time you come here is going to be hopefully 3-4 months, but 1 year from now, what are the changes you'd like to see in India 1 year from now? Because you've seen some, shall we say, important corrections made to your FCB office in India, whether it's physical, whether it's people, whether it's clients. What would you like to see 1 year from now?
It's very different from last time I saw you.
Absolutely.
Last time we talked about, change, bringing new people in. Now we're in a place of momentum. India scored, we do an employee survey of all 8,000 employees. We have about 90% response, so it's pretty amazing. India was one of the big winners this year in terms of momentum, the employees feeling good about where they're going. We have some great creative campaigns coming out of the door. We're winning quite a lot of new business. So I would say for me, it's about momentum. It's about keeping the momentum going. Continue to build on all the positive things that are happening here.
Thank you. All the best, Carter.
Thank you. Great to see you.
With that, it's a wrap on Storyboard this week. We promise to bring to you more of such conversations in the forthcoming weeks. Till then, you can catch all of our content on Facebook, Twitter and YouTube. Thanks for watching and we'll be back same time next week. See you soon.